Hey folks, how's everybody doing? We're back at Medina Lake, Thousand Trails Medina Lake, just outside of San Antonio. And we didn't get our number one site, that 154. We got that on our last week, but the first week we had to drive around. They told us they were almost full. Apparently it's kind of peak season, and on the weekends, everybody comes out. It fills up. So when we first got here, we had to get site 121. And that's some of our friends, Jack and Kim, right here, that the next week they showed up from down in the Rio Grande Valley. Jack's the one that helped dig me out of the mud that time. So anyway, they took site 121 also. After about a week, we wanted to get over by the lake. So after about a week, site 28 opened up, and that's this site here, was able to move over and get a little bit closer. And then we noticed the people that were in site 154 were leaving the following Sunday. So we waited till that Sunday, and then we moved down and got 154, which we just totally love. Our view out our front window is just out on the lake, and the deer and the turkeys are all around. Here's a turkey that usually we see them in packs of 3 and 4. This turkey kept gobbling, and so I was thinking, you know, he would fit pretty good on the barbecue. So obviously that's not turkey, that's chicken. We're having some chicken shish kebabs with peppers and onions and all that, and we make those every couple of weeks. They're pretty darn good. One of our favorites. Drove into San Antonio to go see the Alamo and take a river walk down along the river. And we've done this a couple of times in years past, but the tour that you take in the little boat, it's just a ton of fun. And our boat captain, he was quite the comedian this time. It's about a 30-minute trip.
So now we're headed out to the Horseshoe Bend, the natural horseshoe bend of the San Antonio River. It is spring bed 4 miles north of here, up on the campus of the University of the Incarnate Word at the Blue Hole. South of there in Brackenridge Park, near the San Antonio Zoo and Whitty Museum. Hey, look up on the right side of our boat. Check it out. It's the world's largest frozen margarita machine. Anybody thirsty? Our right side, the stage. Behind the stage, 5 bells. Those represent the first 5 Taco Bells here in San Antonio. No, the missions, our 5 Spanish missions.
So this morning we got up nice and early. We headed out to Belton, Texas, and we're going to meet up with my sister, and we're going to visit the Caddell graveyard. My great-great-grandfather, Captain Andrew Caddell, fought in the Battle of San Jacinto. That's where the Texas guys got even with the Mexican guys for kicking our butts at the Alamo. He was granted about 4,700 acres from the state of Texas for his service in the military, Captain Andrew Caddell. And she found his gravesite in Bell County, Texas. So she had to drive about 250 miles, and we had to drive about 100 miles, but we met up there at their land, where the gravesite is, with Robert and Karen. So we met up with Robert and Karen Rance that owned the property now. They own about 55 acres, and that's where the Caddell Cemetery is located. And they agreed, yeah, to let us come on and see it, and it was really pretty neat. There's some old oak trees there, huge oak trees they had an arborist out a few months back, and they said they were 700 years old. So if you want to see the whole video, it's, I don't know, 12 minutes or so. I'll put a link up here in the site, and you can see more of the cemetery and that whole visit was pretty neat. So we got back to Medina, and one of our main favorite things, we take the dog for a walk 2 or 3 times a day. We try to get in at least 3 miles, but quite often it's a mile and a half. We need to do better. But we get out a little bit every day, taking the dog out, visiting with other folks, and just makes for a nice afternoon, especially when the weather's nice. We had a real rough lightning storm one night. I got up at 2 in the morning when the thunder and lightning just started going crazy, and just sat and watched out the window. It just lit up like daylight, and it was only like a mile or so away. It was pretty awesome. So when we're doing our walks around through the park, quite often Tinker, I don't know if she's nervous or what, but she gets to barking and yapping at the other dogs, and so we're trying to get her more accustomed to be around all the other dogs that we can. And Pearl, we went through Fredericksburg, Texas. So a few years ago, 10 years ago or so, we drove through Fredericksburg, Texas, and that's a pretty neat little town. Have a lot of touristy kind of stores and stuff, and big sidewalks. Everybody walks up and down. So we decided to take Tinker downtown and let her interact with all the people walking up and down the street and all the dogs and stuff. And not one, she didn't get out of line one time. Just a lot going on, and she was just a happy camper. We've taken her in a couple of times to outside restaurants and let her sit with us while we eat, and she's done real good both times we've done that. So she's getting better, but she can be a little bit crazy sometimes. This outside restaurant here had a number of dogs. I think a lot of people doing the same thing. So a lot of people walk their dogs in a lot of people walk their dogs in Fredericksburg. There's big dogs, little dogs. But everybody got along, all the dogs got along great. We don't normally feed her Texas trout, but we couldn't have given her a little piece of meat. It only seemed fair. She did so good. And of course, Pearl got her another t-shirt from Fredericksburg, Texas. So here we're flying over the park. All these sites down here are right by the lake, but they don't have sewer. They've got 30 amp and maybe some 50 amp, but mostly 30 amps and no sewer. But super views. And then going down on this back road, they all have sewers, but it's mostly 30 amp and a few 50s sprinkled in. A lot of nice big sites for any size rig. You'll find a good level site in Medina Lake. Have a number of cabins people come and rent. And the activity center down here, they have potluck dinners, Easter egg hunts, I forgot whatever. We generally don't go to those activities. We've gone to a couple of things. For the most part, we kind of enjoy being in our own site and visiting with the people down there, not in a anything structured. So I'm going to see if I can get the drone parked in here, and I met like I met one guy that had a 6-motor drone. I forgot what he called it, but it's a pretty big, pretty nice drone. But I didn't see it. He just stopped and was watching me fly mine. I saw another guy flying a drone out in front, out through the windshield yesterday. So there's several drones out here. And maybe hopefully they're getting a little more popular. In my mind, I like seeing them out and about because I like flying mine without upsetting anybody. But this is the last of Medina Lake. We probably won't ever be back again, so we've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I know a few of you are coming up to Medina. Thousand Trail. I know a few of you Thousand Trails members are going to be heading through Texas or already live in Texas. So stop by Medina Lake. I don't think you'll be disappointed as long as there's water in the lake. It might be a little blah if it dries up, which I hear it does on occasion. But hope you enjoyed the video. We had a lot of fun in Texas. We're going to be in Texas another month, headed up to see my sister, and then we're going up to Lake Whitney and then Lake Texoma, and then we're cutting over to Missouri. So thanks everybody for traveling along with us through Texas. Hope you will stay with us as we go up through New England. We're getting almost 2,000 subscribers. I think we're almost 1950 or something. So jump on the bandwagon, help us get over that 2,000. If you enjoyed the video, give us that thumbs up. We sure appreciate it. And keep the wheels rolling. And we'll I just want to take a minute to thank all you guys that are using that Amazon link. It's up to almost $100 now. So I know there's several of you using it. A couple of you, 3 or 4 of you told me you're using it a little bit. But it's really neat. It's no big deal if it's a pain to do it. But it's as much as anything, it's fun to get on there and just see it step up and grow and grow. It's kind of a measuring stick to saying that people are watching and appreciate it and taking the effort to click on it as a way to say thanks, and we appreciate it. So if you're using the Amazon link, thanks very much. And before I said we was going to buy a couple of bottles of wine, I got an email from a viewer, and I got one 3 or 4 months ago that saw liquor on the counter that didn't like the idea of drinking. And the email the other day from a lady said that she didn't want to use the Amazon link if we're going to spend it on wine. So I promise you we won't buy any wine or liquor with the Amazon money. We'll use it for camera gear or something, or maybe donate it to a good cause. But anyway, thanks very much. We appreciate the acknowledgement, and appreciate you supporting us. Have a good one.